Hey, what's up, JD?
But if JD is anything like the rest of us, the first thing that popped into his head...
He was using, I think, the JD side of his brain.
JD, such a trite question.
What does this job mean to you personally, JD?
And JD is a great communicator.
Well, JD says,
JD, I don't use the word hillbilly.
Content Creation Musings with JD Sutter.
Welcome to the show. I talk about podcasting, blogging, new media, and other creative projects, and some of the things that inspire me in my creative pursuits. You can find my content and connect with me at jdsutter.me. Today is one of those days where I just want to talk about some of the content that I enjoy. So today I want to share my top 5 Christmas novellas. I know I am not alone in this, but I love Christmas. I always have. And as an avid reader, I also love discovering Christmas-related stories to read during the holiday season. So I decided to share 5 of my favorite Christmas stories with you. Now, often on these sorts of lists, folks immediately go with things like A Christmas Carol or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as beloved stories to read around Christmas time. And they're not wrong. I love those books too, but I made a deliberate decision to not include any classics or extremely well-known works in this list. No Dickens or O. Henry or Hans Christian Andersen today. So let's get started. These are not necessarily in any particular order with the exception of number 1, which is my favorite of all. So let's start at number 5, and that is The Christmas Tree by Julie Salomon. This book is 118 pages, and it is a character-driven, medium-paced story with strong character development. It's emotional, hopeful, inspiring, and reflective. It's a very sweet Christmas story with some heart-tugging moments. It's about the chief gardener of the Rockefeller Center in New York City. One of his main duties is to secure the huge tree that will be displayed in Rockefeller Center and is the focal point of the annual lighting event there. One year, on his hunt for the perfect tree, he meets a nun at a convent who changes the way he looks at the holiday. There are beautiful, full-color illustrations by Jill Weber sprinkled throughout this book. It is a delight to read. I just found it this year, and I really had fun just sitting down in the evenings and reading it aloud. It's a delight. One of my favorite lines from this book is, "I had always been a happy child. How could I not have been, with a father who used to greet every morning by peering out the window and asking, 'What lies out there for us today?' We were almost never disappointed. We always found something I had never seen before, something new and wonderful." Next up is number 4, The Christmas Sweater by Glenn Beck. Now, I know that name can be divisive, so don't let that stop you. This book is not political in any way. It's just a great holiday story. This one is 284 pages. It is a character-driven, medium-paced story with strong character development and lovable but flawed characters. It's semi-autobiographical, and it is emotional, mysterious, and even downright sad in places. It is about 12-year-old Eddie, who is growing up the child of a poor single mother, and the wishes and desires he has for Christmas, just like every other kid, but which seem to go unfulfilled. It's heart-wrenching at times, but also heartwarming, and it does have a bit of a supernatural angle that I really liked. Also, the design and layout of this book is top tier. From festive borders on the pages to red ink highlights to cozy illustrations at the start of each chapter by Paul Nunn, it's simply a beautiful little book and a complete joy to read. I've read it multiple times. One of my favorite lines from this one, "No one has ever been lost to the storm, just lost in it. What most people don't realize is that you don't have to fight the storm. You just have to stop feeding it. Stop giving it power over you." Ah, such a great book. All right, number 3, The Shepherd's Prayer by Richard M. Barry. This one is 127 pages. This is an inspiring, reflective, medium-paced book. It has a mix of character and plot focus, and our main character is very likable. It's an interesting look at the events surrounding the birth of Christ in Bethlehem from a really different perspective. It is a really good biblical fiction narrative where the author takes the story of the shepherds who are there at Jesus' birth and intertwines that with the story of an orphan who is trying to find out who he is in more ways than one. And I'm not going to spoil it, but who this guy turns out to be is really neat. He becomes a major figure later on in the New Testament. It is an amazing story. It is a very easy read. It's also a well-designed book with nice gold ink accents throughout. Really well done. One of my favorite lines from this one: "What you saw that night in the stable in Bethlehem was the unfolding of God's plan to reconcile men to himself. All will come to its fulfillment in God's perfect timing." Now, I want to mention that the author has made the audiobook version and the audio dramatization of the novella available on SoundCloud to listen to, so that is linked in the accompanying post for this episode. That brings us to number 2, Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. Now, this one might be one that is a little bit more well-known because there was a film adaptation of this several years back. But this book is 177 pages. It's funny, it's lighthearted, it's medium-paced, it's a mix of character and plot, and it's a straight-up comedy. This is a delightful and funny read. It's got characters you love and ones you love to hate. Everyone has or knows someone who has neighbors like those of the Cranks, the family in this story, and I could absolutely sympathize with Luther Crank's annoyance with the busybodies in his neighborhood. There's humor, heart, and holiday fun in this novella, and it's great to revisit this every few years. I think I've read it 3 or 4 times now. Just a quick content note, there is some minor language and mentions of a company Christmas party that got a little out of hand, but there is nothing explicit in it. Being a comedy, there aren't a whole lot of thought-provoking lines in this one, but this line sort of encapsulates the whole premise of the book. Our main character, Luther, is explaining to his wife why he wants to skip out on Christmas. He says, "The catch is simple. We don't do Christmas. We save the money, spend it on ourselves for once. Not a dime on food we won't eat, or clothes we won't wear, or gifts no one needs. Not one red cent. It's a boycott, Nora, a complete boycott of Christmas." So fun. All right, well, that brings us to number 1, The Immortal Nicholas by Glenn Beck. This one is a little bit longer, so it might technically be novel length, but it is 336 pages, but it moves very quickly. It is also a pretty easy read. It is adventurous, emotional, inspiring, and it really focuses on the characters. There is a lot of strong character development. The characters are lovable, and our main character's flaws are a main focus here. I absolutely love this book. It is such a fantastic story. One of the best biblical fiction books I've ever read. It's actually a blend of historical and biblical fiction because it combines the story of Christmas from Scripture with the story of the real Saint Nicholas. Now, I don't want to say too much more for fear of spoiling anything, but it is truly a beautiful story that is at times heartbreaking, but also has some simply wonderful, moving moments as well. I can't recommend it highly enough. While this volume is not as decorative as some of the others on this list, it does have decal edge pages that offer a nice look, and the red foil text on the dust jacket is a really nice touch too. One of my favorite lines from this one is, "I think that all good gifts come ultimately from God. It wouldn't do for the messenger to take credit for his master's work." Again, such a fantastic book, and I enjoy it so much that I would like to give away an audiobook copy of The Immortal Nicholas. So, in the accompanying post for this episode, there is a link to a sign-up form. Go and add your name and email address to that form, and that will enter you into a drawing, and I will spin the wheel and give away a free audiobook through Libro FM to one person who signs up by December 7th. So I will do that drawing on December 7th, and I will email the winner, and you will get a free audiobook from Libro FM. Well, I hope these book recommendations have intrigued you and has prompted you to go check some of them out, or all of them. They're all fantastic books. Before I close this one out, I also want to mention, If you're a Christmas fan like I am and you like Christmas music, I have linked up in this post a link to a previous episode of Content Creation Musings where I talk about 7 Christmas albums from artists you may not know. So check that out. Some great music there to listen to during this holiday season. As always, a transcript of this episode as well as the links to the related resources can be found at my website, jdsutter.me/ccm17. You can send your feedback to show@jdsutter.me. I will talk with you next time. Adios, and have a Merry Christmas.